Welcome to part 3. We're giving you hardcore boxing fans a real treat. And I'll be up till about 4 in the morning uploading these. But this is all that matters because for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be on this story every day like a rash. I'll be going out in a blaze of glory. But all in all, where's it going to end up this? Are they going to fight? And you said 5 years or something, didn't you?
Yeah, what I mean is at some point this might resurface, but if you're postponing this, if people think this is going to happen in 4, 5, 6 weeks, maybe they know something we don't, like the Border Control are going to sanction this. Maybe they know something we don't, that they are going to request a B sample. And unlike 99.99% of B samples, it'll come back with a different result. Maybe they know something we don't, but we all know that that postponement was saving face. They're saying it's postponed because we're saving face.
They sought backlash, didn't they? I think the board would have looked at the backlash in here and they would have thought, "Oh God."
There was a hell of a lot of backlash, wasn't there?
People within the game, license holders are going berserk.
Yeah, people who know the sport, and even people who know the Bens personally and who know Matchroom personally, or may not work for them. Even these guys are saying, "No, you can't do this. You can't. This cannot carry on."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Den's good mates with Nigel Benn and Scott Brum. I've said what I've said to people today, what I think about it. Look, your mind is tested and he got a negative. That were a UCAD test. What about the VADA test he failed?
Yeah. Hey? See, listen, nobody is saying about the UCAD test. No one's telling us what the dates were. And nobody's telling us if UCAD test for clomiphene. No one is telling us this stuff. All right, if you want to defend this position, give us some details. Give us some specifics. Give us some details. When exactly was the VADA test? When exactly was the UCAD test?
The GAD and all his team, the GADinators, that's what we call them. All the GADinators at the TalkSport, they were all ready to get stuck into him.
I saw them. I saw all the guys on TalkSport. It's a good little show they've got going on there. And Spencer Oliver seems a little bit less biased.
Less biased.
Just lately, I don't know if he's just been embarrassed by the way he's behaved over Joshua, that he's almost saying, you know what, I better be a little bit more open and a little bit more frank.
Fearing if that ice breaks again and you're carrying off like a clown, I'll be underneath it.
Listen, it's like we've said, mate, you gotta, if you are a pundit, your job is to be neutral. Your job is to inform the public.
Other than the mates. You were outboxing the best boxer in the world after 10
Simon Jordan's nobody's mate, is he?
You don't need to be with about 230 million bank, does he?
Well, that affords him the right to say what he wants.
But say what he wants. I heard he took that job, didn't he? He wasn't bothered about a salary. Because he wanted to keep busy.
It'd been inconvenience for him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it probably is. He probably sat doing that job, Simon Jordan, thinking, sheesh, we've got these coming on here today. What are they going to spin? And he keeps them all in line, you know, in there.
Yeah, he's fabulous at that, at what he does.
And I think what's happened here, the GAD and Oliver have been told, here, what were all that? What was that? What were you doing? They've had to make out, we didn't want him to get depressed and do all daft and his mental health, and it were all to cushion him and all that. We're talking about the former heavyweight champion of the world with millions in bank, but they feel the need to cushion him.
What about the mental health of all those undercard fighters this weekend?
Listen, you know this I know exactly. What about all their mental health? Everybody uses mental health at drop of an hat, but what about them kids that were earning about 8 and 5 grand who were on that show and just done a 2-month camp? What are they going to tell the kids when they go home or the missus? Oh, Conor Ben failed the dope test, so we're not getting paid. What?
Driving around for 6 weeks, flogging tickets after they've been on runs and training and absolutely knackered, and some of them have done a day at work.
Yeah.
Flogging tickets and all the families scrimping and scraping and getting all the money together to go support them and pay for hotels and pay for transport and train tickets down to London. What about all those people's mental health?
Exactly.
You know, You won't. Sometimes you only ever, and if anybody's thinking, oh, he's going off, he's going off. The fighter I trained, his big moment was ruined by a drugs cheat, Lamont Peterson. So I got no time for them, mate. I got no time for them because these people who is the victims. Do you know something? Nobody will ever stand up and just say, do you know what? I made a mistake. Have you ever heard anybody?
Rapists or drug cheats never come out, do they, and go, do you know what? I took them steroids. Oh, yeah, you know what? I did do that bad rape or whatever them people do. Nobody comes out and admits out like that, do they?
No.
Nobody, do they? Nobody.
And as Talk Sport and Simon Jordan and all those guys have been saying, there's a real issue here. What if something had happened to Chris Eubank? What if something had happened?
That one out. I was saying, look, somebody's going to put on slab with Eddie Hearn's matchmaking because they don't know what they're doing. They chase the money. They don't think of safety. Somebody will end up on slab. He's already had one kid passed away on his show, hasn't he, in America, hasn't he? Somebody will end up on the slab on one of his shows and he'll come out, be a few crocodile tears yet again. 2 weeks later, that kid won't even be mentioned, will he?
No, family won't be mentioned, kid won't be mentioned. Nobody cares, mate. As long as they're making money, everybody's happy, aren't they? We're repeating the same point, but I still can't get over the fact they're still trying to make the show go forward.
What's Robert Smith going to do now then? Are they going to batter down Atchers and have to take them on legally, do you think, Earns of them, or do you think there'll be no case to answer?
There'll be no case to answer because I'll tell you exactly what's happened. What happens is every person who's every drugs cheat, who gets found an adverse test, they shout for a few weeks. We're going to challenge this. We're going to look under every single stone. We're going to find out what's happened. We're going to go against you, the organizational body. We're going to go against the board. We're going to go, and it goes all quiet. And then, a bit like Canelo, they just take the ban, don't they? They take the ban, they pay the fine, and then they say, "Well, I didn't know. I didn't really know what was in there." And honestly, I'm clean. I'm a clean living athlete, and this thing's never happened to me before. I don't know where it's come from. No one ever fronts it out because they might show balls in the ring, but they don't show integrity, and those are two different things. So it'd be so, such a positive thing, like you've said, if he just turns around and they do a presser and they say, "Look, I'm really embarrassed about this," but no, it'll just be noise. We're going to get noise. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to sue anybody. They're not going to take anybody to court. They're not going to smash the border control apart. They're not going to challenge anybody. They're going to go really, really quiet now for the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, we've already had 2 days of quiet, haven't we? Now, not a peek out of them.
So what do we need? What do we need now?
We need IFL in Eddie Hearn's office, and we need Coogan there with some questions, firing questions at them. And I think you've got some, haven't you? Some good ones, haven't you, on your phone?
Yeah, I mean, I've asked most of them, but these are the things that we want, but we're not going to get them, mate. We're not going to get the questions. Like I said, we've asked them before tonight, but when were all parties notified about this? When were the border control?
That's the first question. That's when did they all find out? This is what all that talk sport lot we're going to ask. When did you know it failed? Why didn't you come out on your social media, Eddie, on your Twitter and say, Conor Benn has failed the test, we've pulled the show. We've got a replacement coming. So we pulled him off the show, but the show goes ahead. We've got somebody else to fight, Chris Eubank, but he's not going to be on the same money, right? And it's not going to be paid for you. That could have saved all the undercard, all them kids on undercard, am I right?
Yep, 100%.
So they've known about this since end of August. Or August 30th, what test? People are saying they've had it on first. Board was saying they were told 23rd. Well, whatever. But Eddie Hearn will have known about it from the first if he didn't know already that the kid were on somewhere, or if he didn't suspect. But we're going to say he's a clean athlete. Boom, he's failed the test. 30 if he took it. They'll have known 2 days later. He'll have been told. They would have had to know because there's millions at stake. They wouldn't have wanted to drag it on ages. And it's only a quick turnaround anyway for that test straight away, isn't it? So he's failed it. Hearn should have come out on his Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all across the board. Was he 6 or 7 platforms he deals with? DAZN should have come out and said, been pulled off show. We're going to put John Ryder in, or Sam Eggington, or whoever in with him. Get another opponent, and that's where it's at. Or Liam Smith and Eubank. That could have still been pay-per-view, couldn't it?
Yeah.
They could have put Liam Smith in, because Liam Smith would have been bang up for it, wouldn't he?
And he's probably been in shape. He's always in shape, isn't he?
Always in shape. Never seen fat. Good, tough ex-world champion. I think he beats Eubank, Liam Smith. I think he does him. I think he's got too much for him.
Good fight, is that?
Tough kid. Eddie should have done that, but they've sat on it, thought, we'll do a Dylan White. He's blown up in the faces. He's lost out. Lloyd's are not going to pay him out. How can they pay him out? They're not getting out on that. And half the time when they get pulled these shows, they love it, because they get paid out top whack, don't they?
I've got a question.
Go on.
Okay, this was not on this list of questions. I'm just thinking it's a little bit different question to what we're asking. The pay-per-view was 20 quid. Yeah.
You have to membership.
You had to subscribe to DAZN.
So 28.
Are people going to get the £28 back, or they're going to get the £20 back?
They'll get the £20 back, I would have thought, but they'll not get the £8 back, because there's other sports to watch with that £8, isn't there? That's how.
What if you've only subscribed to watch that fight, which is what I would have done, because I cancelled mine ages ago.
Well, they'll have had, say, 500,000 people paying £8, won't they? Because they'll give all the 20 back. So they'll have made £8 times 500,000, which is £4 million for not even putting fight on. So that'll cover what they've lost. They might have spent maybe 800 grand on everything. Do you know what I mean? Out there.
Next question. We're asking the questions. We don't know the answers.
Yeah.
Are the undercard fighters going to get compensated for training camps, expenses, loss of earnings?
I think they might get some, but not what they think. I think they might get some, or they might get a promise of being put on another show, because they've been quick this morning to put out that so-and-so and so-and-so who didn't fight on the Eubank fight is going to be out this time and that time. That's to keep them all sweet, because the managers and trainers would have been going, here, what's effing going on here, you effing Essex CUNTSers? That's what would have happened. They'll not be. Listen, if you're the trainer of Gary Sykes and manager, you're not interested in Conor Benn now, because as far as you're concerned, he's a scumbag who cheats. You don't want him in your gym. And everybody else who's got any integrity will feel like that. And Tony Sims, he ain't got no integrity. He should be setting about his fighter now, saying he's disappointed. But he ain't. He's come out saying they're innocent and all that. They know what goes on. Come on. They've got no integrity. You know what I mean?
It just leaves a bitter taste, doesn't it? It leaves a bitter taste, because they'll never front it, will they? They'll never own it.
No.
Everybody's wrong. The victims here, The victims
are undercard, and they've travelled over. This has affected so many people. It's unbelievable. I can't believe what I've seen.
So what does this then? Another question. So what will this do to the relationship between Eddie Hearn and DAZN when Joshua's got 2 losses on the trot? Joshua's had 2 losses on the trot. The unification's not been delivered. Your next big ticket seller, Conor Benn's just failed the drugs test. Who else have they got, UK-wise?
Campbell, Hands of Foam, Hatton. He's the next big noise.
Well, we need to shut shop now, then, don't we?
Well, where's the Bellew's gone? Not that he was a big ticket seller anyway, but he's gone. Bellew, he had plenty of pay-per-views, didn't he? Because of his mouth, but not ability. So he's
Lawrence Okoli.
Hey?
Lawrence Okoli's only got 1 fight.
Lawrence Okoli, he's on his way out, but I won't open my curtains to watch him. Crawler's gone. He's retired. Who else is there? Boatsi. Who's he? Where's he going? He's looking to get out at mix, isn't he? They've cancelled that fight with him and Pascal, which were a great fight for fans, that.
Why have they cancelled that? Is it something to do with Pascal? Wouldn't sign up to VADA testing?
Yeah, Pascal wasn't involved with VADA testing. It was testing, but not VADA. And they said, no, it's VADA or not. We'll deal with best. So VADA failed Conor Benn. They're not challenging it, but they're still trying to get the fight ahead. even though they know he's juiced out of his mind. So I don't know. What else have they got?
They got, I mean, Felix Cash is not a huge name, is he, right now?
15 and 0.
Katie Taylor.
Finishing a career.
Yeah, coming towards the
And
end.
his cycle's over. The landscape's changing. There's no heavyweights, as you know. Dylan White's a bust of
Johnny Fisher. Novice Johnny Fisher.
Johnny Fisher, is it? 5 and 0, isn't he? Elmer Fudd, big dummy with his old man walking around with Chinese food all day. Hey, what? That's a circus act. Forget him, big dummy, Elmer Fudd. So he's not going to done out. So who we got left? We've got Ebony Bridges, porn star.
Who are the you know, the young kids coming through who people are talking about? They're either on Sky. You got like Adam Aziz is on Sky. You got the Olympians. I mean, he's got the one who's, I don't think he's gonna I don't think he's really gonna cut it for whatever.
And he's got Shannon Courtney, hasn't he? Shannon the Cannon Courtney.
Yeah, there you go.
Babyface. She's back on the scene. She's back.
Well, she's not back now, is she? She'll be looking for a fight again, won't she? Which is unfortunate for her.
Around. You what?
She'll be looking for a fight again, won't she now, mate? You know, listen, he might have a roster of fighters that we don't know about, but the fighters who people are talking about, they're not coming through Matchroom.
What do you think Shannon Courtney's manager, advisor will think about it all?
You'd be looking to go elsewhere, wouldn't you? You'd be looking to maybe go on Sky. Look how they're really pushing women's boxing right now. I'd be checking that contract out and I'd be seeing if there's an inroad with Sky.
Yeah, he'll probably be doing that as we speak. Old what's his name? Adam Boone, the Dark Lord. People need to stop giving Kent a hard time as well about his Adam Boone impression, even though he sounded like he were Dutch.
Kent's all right, mate.
Kent's the top man.
Kent's a good guy.
His Adam Booth thing were like a dog drowning underwater, wasn't it? Adam Booth, one very good one. Ken, you can do better than that, my friend. I don't really know, actually, to be honest, because Eddie has rubbed everybody up the wrong way right now, and people are going to be thinking, you know what, I'm going right off him. He was a breath of fresh air. I would be getting a group. You're like, wow, this is
me too. Yeah.
And he was a gamer, and he wanted to take boxing to new heights. But you know what? Once that money started coming in, they realised that everybody around them just haven't got a clue what they're doing, and they're all weak, and they'll do out for a few quid. I
remember him at the early prize fighters, and it was pretty quiet actually. I've been 3 prize fighters with fighters, and I wouldn't spend any time with him. I never spoke to him personally, and they wouldn't even know who I was, but that's fine. But he seemed a bit more quiet, a bit more subdued, and he's just almost become this like caricature, hasn't it? This become this well, his own icon really, and this is what happens. And do you know Eddie Hearn's problem? And listen, he's very good at what he does. I don't think anybody can doubt that, you know. But maybe that time's coming to an end. But Eddie Hearn's problem, and I said this when they first talked about the Fury and Joshua fight, when it was bigger, when Joshua was champion.
Yeah.
He didn't stop talking, and even him and Warren and Aram all had an agreement, didn't they, that until the deal's done, let's keep quiet. And Eddie couldn't stop talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and he's never learned. But what's happened, because Eddie can't stop talking and he has such strong opinions on drugs cheats and everybody else, all this footage is now coming back this week, isn't it? The contradictions, you know, it's the Bob Aram line, isn't it? You know, yesterday I was lying, today I'm telling the truth. All the contradictions that Eddie has come out with, like some of the guys who are his mates, their beliefs and their principles only apply if it doesn't involve matchroom fighters. You know, like their views on drugs cheats, the views on this, the views on that. If it doesn't involve matchroom fighters, but Eddie doesn't stop talking. People watching me thinking, well, neither do you. But his mouth and everything he says gets captured online. And that's why all these videos have been so hilarious this week about the contradictions, what he said, ripping Canelo Alvarez to shreds. and then gloating and then glowing, saying, "Oh, I'm a massive Canelo Alvarez fan."
Seen it all this week. I was watching some of them earlier. You've got Eddie Hearn on judging, refereeing, border control, pay-per-view, drug testing, drug cheats, Anthony Joshua, what's right for fighters. He's got an opinion on everything. But you know what? All that has just got even worse on his watch. All of it. We've not had Joshua against Fury. We haven't had Joshua against Wilder. He couldn't get Carl Froch against Chavez done because he were that greedy. That greedy. Adam wanted it done. He were that greedy. He wanted a huge fee. You know what I mean? There were millions.
Couldn't do Khan and Brook, could he? He couldn't do Khan and Brook.
Couldn't do Khan and Brook. He couldn't do
Marshall and Shields.
Terry Harper against Harper. Terry Harper, sorry, against Jonas rematch. He couldn't do that. He couldn't get Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields over at line. Couldn't do it because he's rubbing everybody the wrong way. And the problem he's got now, he rubbed them all up wrong way in America, and all promoters and managers. They don't want to work with him. DAZN are not stupid. They'll see this. They'll see what he is. But what he's shown his said to be, and this is right, Eddie Hills, is grubby and classless in his last 48 hours. Classless.
Oh, it's his worst moment. These are his worst moments.
And he knows. He's got caught up in the moment. He's sat back and he'll be sat at home now in his big, massive Georgian Tudor mansion in Essex. He'll be sat in there now and he'll be thinking, do you know what? I think I've dropped the ball on this. And he might come out on IFL and say, you know what? I got it all wrong. And I think that's what he's done. I think he is a boxing guy deep down, but he's also powered by greed and numbers. And wanted to ruin Warren. They're obsessed by ruining Warren then.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what now? They're going to be making more mistakes than ever because Warren's all in position with the heavyweights and the light heavies. He's in and he's moving in with middleweights now. You go down and look and have a look. You're getting them all. Hey, listen, I look every day. Getting them all in position. And Eddie's not. They're chasing money. You're not getting nobody in position. Got nobody coming through. Well, where are they? Look at them, what Frank's got. He's got Dennis McCann, Archie Sharp. They're all ready to go for the Britishers. That their apprenticeship's done, isn't it?
Hamza Shiraz. Look at Sky. They've got Adam Aziz. They've got the girls who are the Olympians. You know, they've got people who what people want to talk about. And who has he got coming through now? You know, there was a time when Eddie would have got the absolute cream of the Olympic squad. Didn't happen, did it?
No, didn't happen.
Who wants to, I mean, people do obviously, but who really wants to fight on an app? You know?
The first chink I saw in his arm we matching were when he said to Dave Allen, don't worry about that, DeBar off, and I'll match that. So Dave Allen, what sounds?
Fine.
Didn't he? Didn't match it. And then just discarded him like rubbish. Hey? Or after you've had him flogged, God knows how many times. That's when I thought, you know what?
Well, you got to look at things for me, like I say, I know it's these rematch clauses that he's always got. You know, I've never heard of a rematch clause in a mandatory challenger. You know, when with Usyk and Joshua the first time, that's stuck in my throat more than anything. That you had a rematch clause for a mandatory challenger. I'm a mandatory challenger because I've earned my shot. I've been mandated. I'm number one, and I have to fight you twice. That almost should have been illegal. And then if you look at Kid Galahad getting beat by Martinez, there was a rematch clause there, wasn't there? Why didn't he activate that?
Because it's a hard fight.
So he basically is all these things creeping into boxing.
No money in it, was there? They had a rematch clause for Galahad who lost his belt, but they won't give him a rematch. But yeah, he had a contract for a rematch, but Eddie wouldn't give him it because no money in it. So Galahad really wrung out to dry, wasn't he?
Completely.
Would that have been Joshua if he lost his belts to Usyk and he couldn't have rematch?
So they shipped him up to lightweight. Says the only fight I'm going to give you is Maxi. He was a guy who's too big for you.
Yeah.
On a good winning run.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they could give, wasn't it?
Well, I think he'll
have to jump back down a weight, won't he? He'll have to probably jump back down one weight and come again, won't he, Galahad? I
Probably not on a Matchroom show. Yeah.
Oh, they'll be done. They're done now. They're done because he's lost 2 on trot, hasn't he? So they'll be done.
Well, that's exactly what happened with Kez Ashfrak from Leeds, who I knew several years ago. He went to Rio, Olympian. He went with Matchroom, not really a big ticket seller, got beat for an English title. He's in nothing career. He's not even fighting now. He fights once a flood.
Yeah.
If you don't happen, if you're not big money and generate big money, they'll cast you aside very, very quickly.
Very, very, very quickly.
Ruthless, absolutely ruthless.
Yeah, that's what will happen. Moving on then from the Conovan debacle, it's been a bad time for boxing. Do you want to? Should we finish off on what you think will happen for Fury next? There's a lot of names in mix. Derek Chisora, Char. Who do you think?
I think the reaction to Char from absolutely everybody is just
Vile.
Come on, not this guy. I think people would probably bizarrely would take Chisora a third time, just because of the weigh-ins and the fun factor. And
Give him his pension fight, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said before, if Fury fights all the time, I'm happy to see him against anybody. But we do want the unification. It's important we get the unification. And do you know the one thing I don't think about much is, and I'm just going to mention it now, is I think I think he'll probably fight Chisora, but I'm not that bothered if I'm being completely honest. I'll watch it. Won't pay for it, by the way. I won't pay pay-per-view for that one, but I'd watch it. The one thing is, like Anthony Joshua, I think, is anybody that bothered what his next move is?
No, I don't see anything on social media, any high numbers or anything. I think everybody's like, well, boxing fans are fickle, they say, don't they? I think people have had enough of it now, and it'll be bad for him now being associated with Earn, because everybody's seen what he is. He'll be like, oh God, why do I want to be tagged with that?
Yeah, it's like they're saying it. You like actors, you're only as good as your last film. Singers, you're only as good as your last album. Boxers, you're only as good as your last fight or your last couple of fights. So
yeah,
who cares? And you ain't. You know, people are talking about Big Joe Joyce now, aren't they? The fun fight, the fun factor in the heavyweight division, and people aren't talking AJ about you, I'm afraid.
They're not talking Fury at the moment. From what I've seen today, he's not big news like he has been, has he?
A couple of weeks time, they won't be talking about Conor Ben. But
what it is, the shooter sends it foot, Julian, don't they? They overdo. Tyson's overdone it, hasn't he, on social media just a little
100%.
bit. So you should pipe down and just come back when you've got a fight. Don't be telling us we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I'm fighting him, I'm offing him. Go away with all that, please. Go away with it. Tell us when it's signed and you've had a presser. Do you know what I mean?
In fact, you've mentioned a really good point there about Fury and numbers. So Fury, Joshua, this debacle that we've had, the fast this weekend. I wonder how many people like Big Richard have actually just said, I'm done, genuinely. I wonder how many people.
I think he is, honestly. I think he's done.
I wonder how many people have unsubscribed to DAZN this weekend.
There'll be loads, won't there? There'll be loads of people tweeting them.
Massive numbers.
Back. People are tweeting them non-stop, Instagramming them, telling them, listen, why? I'm not telling them till this, but this is what's been going on. I've seen it. People
I've seen it.
They've set it on fire. They're doing a lot of trouble. They're thinking, we've got Eddie Earn. He's like the captain of the ship, you know. He's the front man. He's the captain of the ship, but he's the front man, isn't he? He might be captain, but it's not his ship. Is that a bit better, worded better?
Yeah.
He's captain of the ship, but it ain't his ship. But he's going into choppy waters, and people are not upstairs in Bird's Nest looking for icebergs, and he's got a boat there, and he said, yeah, there's enough boats on. Well, there's enough by half, so half are going to drown on Eddie's boat, and he's heading for icebergs. And when he hits that iceberg and it cracks, you know who's going to be underneath it, don't you?
Big P.
Big P and Rocky.
Do you know what you got to start doing now? And I think, because like we said, people get tired like you just mentioned, Tyson Fury. People get
Oh,
bored.
oh God, it took me head in it, and I don't mind him. He's funny, but it went on too far, didn't it?
People get bored of it, and it's like a movie, like a franchise.
They've all shot the Sensing Foot in last month. All of that lot have shot the Sensing Foot.
So maybe after all this rubbish, maybe I'm being naive, that now is a time for someone to just be really honest about this situation the weekend. People now might appreciate a little bit of honesty and a little bit of humility and an apology, and just look, some good gestures to come out of this now.
Like Conor Ben fighting for free in his next fight.
Something like that. Yeah, something like
that. Or tickets reduced to a tenner instead of 50 quid. Something like that, or a pay-per-view fight that's just on normal DAZN without a pay-per-view. You know, something really good. They need to put something back to get fans on side, because fans are like, they're going to walk from the spot. I wish people could see my phone. 200 on WhatsApp messages in 2 hours. And then there's all the emails and comments and stuff like that. They want to see how people really feel. It's not.
I'm in a WhatsApp group with a few of my mates and family. There's about 7 or 8 of us. And we talk about boxing all the time. We talk about all sorts of stuff now, because like, oh, I'm done. Like my brother, I'm done. I can't be bothered with this stuff. And people think, oh yeah, well, we always say that, but we always come running back. Not everybody comes running back.
Yeah, they don't, do they?
No, I reckon Richard's got the right idea. He says, you know what, life's stressful enough, and I wouldn't run around after idiots at work, so I'm going to run around in my spare time.
Richard's worked hard. He's put himself in position. 50-year-old. He doesn't know anybody in know. It's all right. It's comfortable. He's got a nice life. Why? And his kids and his daughter's not at home. So why does he need to be stressing his son out over this? Because I know he'll have been looking forward to this weekend and have been planning his day for tomorrow. Watch it. Do you know what I mean? And make a day of it, make it like an event at his house or wherever he wants.
A lot of people were. I know loads of people who were doing that, getting together, having a few beers, you know, a few lads. And I know loads of people looking forward to this fight. Yeah. And now they're just like, phew. So let's hope. I mean, we'll cover this another time, but let's hope next week goes all right. You know, hiccup free. We get no cancellations and no. I just hope next week's event with Shields and Marshall and Baumgardner and Mayer, I hope we get a good night of female boxing and it's a bit of a breakthrough, because if we have any more controversy or any more disappointment, can we even take this seriously?
Well, we've had Ian John Lewis, haven't we? Terry O'Connor, all the rest of them, drug testing, pay-per-view arguments, stubborn. You know, fighters not being paid on time, ticket deals, subscription channels, and all this nonsense and pay-per-view, and it just goes on forever and ever and ever, doesn't it? I don't know, mate. I just want to see big changes in the sport. I want to see changes at the board, and I want to see him gone from DAZN, because I won't pay for DAZN. I won't pay for it ever.
It's like Dana White, you know, someone like him with his approach and his mentality. And he actually said, didn't he? He goes, I remember Dana White saying, you know what? People say, well, you do a great job in boxing. He said, and I thought about maybe I should just branch out into boxing. And Dana White went, nah, it's that broken. I'd be banging my head against the brick wall. And that's like, wow, you know, that's the view, you know. People, I've heard the words with what's happened this week, and people always talk about boxing as being dirty and corrupt, and I've heard the word dirty and corrupt so many times over the past 2 days. It's in a rotten place, mate, isn't it? I know we sound like we're not, you know, we're really.
We've been saying this for a long time, though, haven't we?
Yeah,
we've been saying other things are going to happen. What? You've got to watch. You'll get a body on slab if you let this man have his promoter's license. And are the board going to take action against him and Calla for trying to put that fight on? No, bringing the sport into disrepute. Let's see on that. All right, Julian, for tonight.
I'm good, mate. Final one. We're going to go, but thank you for everybody. It's been a late one. The doctor's going to get hung out on this one, mate.
Yeah, the doctors, the pats.
That's my tip.
All right. Well, listen, you take care. Have a great weekend. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
You too, mate. Thank you everybody for watching. Cheers, buddy.
Well, that was Julian. What can you say to that? I thought I nailed it. I lost my cool a couple of times, but he was saying, because how I put it across here, no one else does, do they? Because they've got little tiny testicles, like little peas, like yours, Rocky. I don't even know if you've got any nuts, have you? Well, you can't make little Rockies because you're about to snip. We don't want any little ones running around, do we? We just want you, don't we? Eh? So I think that's about it, really. Not really much else to add. Julian nailed it. Nobody's asking for the B sample. All we're hearing is, I'm a clean athlete. I've passed a UCAD test straight after. Nobody's asking, have you asked for the B sample? When did you fail it? When did you take it? When did Board know? When did Eddie Earn know? When did Calla know? Nobody were allowed to ask. Why is that? What is it? Secret Service? Hey, I'm up to here with it. And I've told you all for a long time. The only way to deal with this is to not support the events like that, isn't it? That's all. But that takes money out of other fighters on undercards, so it's a catch-22, isn't it? What do? These people don't care for fighters. Yeah, don't care for fighters. He cares for money. So, well, the good thing about it is this: it's made Tony Bellew disappear. All right. What's up, Rocky? Do you want to be on telly? So what's the matter? You keep putting your paw on me. Do you want to go out? Do you want to go out? Do you want to go out? Do you need a wee? How long have we been doing this video? Nearly 2 hours. I bet you want to go drain the main vein, don't you, Rock? Give me a kiss. Well, we'll take my dog out now. We're going to go up a golf course and have a turnout. Hey? Should we get big coats on and go over there with torch? Hey? All right. Big shout out to Frankie and Berry. Hope you're well. All right. We'll go for a walk. Eh? If we go out for a walk in anybody's season, they'll think we're going to score, won't they, Rocky? They think we're going to score. I think we're going to get some smack, won't they? Even though we haven't had it for 12 years in another 10 days. You think they might be going to say we're going to get some smack if we go out for a walk, or should we just stay in? If we stay in, you're going to know it's bedroom down, aren't you? So come on, let's go out. Peace out.